Hi everyone, welcome back to Workshop, and today I've got another repair, and this is actually my own unit that I'm repairing, not an eBay purchase. Oh well, no, wait a minute, I did buy this thing brand new off of eBay, a year ago, a couple of years ago, something like that. This is my little mixer that I connect my microphone to, and it outputs back to my PC and also my audio equipment in the workshop. Just a little mixing desk for just so I've got good control over the EQ and the volumes and the levels, etc. I don't really like doing it on the PC. I'd rather have it all external. I'm old fashioned that way. But anyway, it's developed a fault, and it's funny really because I did a repair on my last little mixing desk that I used to use a few years ago now, and it had a problem as well. But this is a completely different brand. I thought I'll steer away from that brand that I used before and I'll try something. So just a little rundown. It's got two XLR channels there for the microphones, channel 1 and 2. Channel 3 and 4 is actually a stereo channel. You've got two 1/4" jacks there in a stereo configuration. Got a tape interface there. You've got a USB. You can plug in MP3s on a little flash drive and play them directly into the desk here. So you've also got a play button and a skip forward, skip back button there. You've got a headphone output, you've got a left and right mains outputs, and you've got an FX loop and auxiliary. So, and then down on the right hand side you've got the operation of the main output, volume control, some levels for the headphones, etc. You've got phantom power here, which I make use of, and some LEDs there. So the problem with the unit is that audio wise it's perfect, it works perfect. However, the little bar graphs over on the right hand side here, I think it's the right hand one, is acting up a little weird. When you power up the unit, everything's perfect. You can put a microphone in, you can speak or whatever into the microphone, and you'll see the levels on the bar graph here. However, slowly over a few minutes, this right hand bar graph starts filling up until it's into the red continuously, even though you've got no audio input. In fact, you can disconnect the mic so you've got it just sitting like it is now, and it'll slowly fill up, and that's it. There's no amount of tapping or knocking it about will make it go back down. I think it's a temperature related thing, because like I said, when you switch it on when it's cold, it's perfect, and it just starts creeping up the longer it's switched on. So it's off at the moment. It's been off for a good few days actually, so I'll just switch it on and we'll just see what happens with that right hand bar graph. I'll speed up the video as necessary. The little switch in the back, it's got a power supply built in, so there's a main switch at the back, so let's switch it on. And we've got the power LEDs. Phantom power is turned on. Obviously you can turn it off and on there, and then you've got the mains power here, and then below that you've got the two bar graphs there. So we'll just leave it sitting and we'll see what happens. Well, that didn't take very long, did it? In fact, the left hand bar graph's doing something weird as well. Now this unit has been powered up basically continuously since the day I bought it, but it's only like, well, it's less than a year, it's 6 months ago. So I mean, with a fault like this and powered up permanently, more or less, I would hazard a guess that it's power supply related, possibly, you know, bad caps, something like that. But why it would affect one side only and it's always the right hand side, I don't know. And there's no amount of playing with the levels will make any difference to the bar graph. In fact, there's the main output there. There's absolutely nothing. And no amount of tapping it will do anything. So I think we'll have to open it up, get inside, get the freezer spray going possibly, and see what happens. I'm hoping that I don't need to take off the main board. It's always a nightmare fixing something like this because you need to take all the caps off, you need to take all the nuts off the 1/4" jacks, probably those XLR screws there. The whole lot needs to come apart, and it's just a bit of a pest really. So we'll see what we can do once we have a quick look at the power supply there, and then we might start measuring some voltages. And here it is, we're inside the unit, and as suspected, this is the mains, black and white wires coming up in here onto the end of the board here. Obviously the 240 volt mains, and this will be the output there. There's 4 wires there, just one cable coming off, and the back of the board is actually marked 48 volts. That'll be the phantom power, and you've got a G, a minus and a plus, so it'll be ground for the G, and then plus and minus, that'll be the probably a plus and minus supply to the main circuit board there, probably something like plus or minus 12 or plus or minus 15, something like that. So I think I'll just lay the board back down and just check. Oh, there, what am I saying? Look, here we go. Plus or minus 15 ground and 48 volts. So I think the first thing I'll do is I'll put power back in, and let's measure those voltages there. Let's see how noisy they are on first power up, and then when the LEDs start doing their dancing. Right, I've got power on, so I'll try and be quick before the LEDs start going. 53 volts of the phantom power. Yeah, that'll probably be alright. Positive 15, minus 15. We're already going like the clappers on the LEDs, so there's obviously a problem already. So I think actually I'm going to scope the plus and minus 15 and the 48 volts, and we'll just see how noisy they are. Well, I just scoped the supplies off camera, and they're stable enough. Even the 48 volts is not too bad. So what I think I'll actually do is I'll just jump forward here. Yep, it's still flashing away at the front there. I think I'll get the freezer spray and just spray around the board here and see if anything affects the LEDs in the front. So let me just set that up. Right, I've just masked off the power supply area of the board. I don't really want to spray that, just want to do the DC stuff really, so I'll set it up there. There's the LEDs flashing away. Again, doesn't make any difference when you bang it. So I'll just start spraying the back of the board. There's quite a lot of semiconductors and components. So there's obviously a lot of components on the top side. Looks like all capacitors and resistors and all sorts of other manner of stuff on the top side, but we'll see how we go on with the bottom side first of all. So I'm just sort of like doing it in strips across the board, just to see what happens there. So that had an effect, big time. That was at the bottom end of the board, sort of like down this sort of area here, right at the foot of the board there. So I'll just wait until it comes back up again. I don't think I'll need to get the heat gun out. I think the ambient temperature here in the workshop should bring that up fairly fast. And you know, I think I've found a problem. Right, I've definitely found a problem around about that area of the board there that I was freezing. Let me just bring in my Flare C2. And obviously, looking at that end of the board there, you've got the power supply and a few other components. But if I just bring it down there, so what you're looking at there, right at the centre of the screen of the Flare there, is an op amp. And there's another bunch of op amps, the same model number, same part number I believe, around about the same vicinity. But there's one of them in particular is just really hot. I can't even touch it with my hand, it's burning hot. I think we've got a failed op amp. So there's the offending IC there, and it's definitely an op amp because it's a 4558. In fact, they're all 4558s there. probably over this other side as well. But yeah, that's one that's getting hot. It's a 4558, so I think I'll just pull it out and replace it with something else, and I'll probably inspect the board round about it. Why did it fail? I suspect it was the power supply. You know, they're not really prone to failing off their own accord like that. Not in a little wee simple mixer like this. Possibly there is an issue with the power supply, but the quality of the soldering here, this board's been touched up probably, you know, during manufacture there by hand. Obviously it's just terrible, some of the soldering. Some of it's really good and some of it's really bad. This op amp in particular has not been touched, but this one over here has, as have the surface mount resistors round about it. But it's just a mess. So yeah, I think the first thing I'll do is change out the op amp there, and we'll take it for there. And luckily it's just in the normal standard pinout configuration, that 4558, and I'm bound to have something in my parts bins that'll do the job. You know, like I said, it's just a general purpose op amp, this one here. It's like 2 741s in a single package. They're a single 8-pin package, so I'm bound to have something. Let me go and have a look. So this is my op amps bin, my surface mounts. Let me just open it up here, and you have to laugh, because I mean all this stuff here is all basically precision op amps. You know, all my work's done tends to be on the precision side, so I don't really have very many general purpose op amps. These are all precision stuff, probably quite expensive op amps considering, but you know, I have picked a couple out here. Well, I think I'll just try them. They looks like they obviously meet the spec, but they go, you know, well over it actually. I've got an LT1498 and an OPA 277. Those are about as general purposes as I can find, but I think I'll try one of them and see how I get on. So I think the best way to remove components like this from the board is with heat from above. So I've got my little heat gun here, and we're just going to got a nice small tip in it there. I think it's a 4 or a 5mm nozzle on it, so I can just get that down onto the top of the IC there and just go across the package over the pins to a certain degree as well, but keeping away from the other components around about it. But even then, it's not going to be much heat that spreads out onto those other components, so it should be okay. I've already identified that pin 1's in this top left hand corner here. It's the same orientation as the IC below it, which is not the same as the other ICs across here. These three here, they're different the other way around there. And I've just got my tweezers here on standby, ready to pick the IC off the PCB. Just test it every now and then. Just going back and forward from one side to the other side there, and eventually it'll just pop off. I think it's starting to move now. There we go. And it's as quick as that. That's a new one in place there. And yeah, I had a closer look at that gunk that was underneath the IC, and it was definitely glue. So all of these packages were definitely glued down in place. It's probably why I struggled a little bit to get to the IC off there. I was probably heating it up enough, it just wasn't popping off. So that'll be the answer. So I'll take a quick look over some of the joints on this PCB and touch them up as necessary. Then I'll set it up again and we'll get power into it. So I think actually before I box it up, I'm actually going to measure the supply to that op amp. You know, it is running cold. This should be the negative side, minus 15 volts, and the positive rail plus 15 volts. So that's looking good. I think we're good to go. Right, we've got power in now, and I do actually have another microphone which I can test it with. So let me just put power on. We've got power light, and let me just set this up. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. Well, so far so good. We're getting functioning LEDs there. I'm presuming the output's going to be working. I won't know that until I hook it back up to the computer again. But I'll just leave it on for a couple of minutes, and let's see how we get on with that op amp. So I'll just turn it over actually, I'll disconnect this, I'll turn it over and let's see what our temperatures are doing. The op amp that I've fitted in its place is actually rated for plus or minus 18 volts as per the one I took out, so that was quite good, it met the same spec. And yeah, we're getting nothing like the temperature, just it's warm, they're all warm really. That whole side of the circuit board tends to be a little bit warm, I notice. I don't have a schematic diagram for this unit at all, so we're in blind here. So exactly where that op amp was sitting in the circuit, I don't really know. The board seemed to work okay, or at least channel 1 did, and right through from the XLR input all the way through to the main output there, it worked perfect. But I hadn't really used any of the other channels in a while, so I don't really know. So let's turn it over again and try the mic. 1 2 1 2 1 2. That seems like a fix. So I think I'm going to chance my arm here and I'm going to bolt it all back together again and hook it back up to the PC. So there's a little Vonyx mixer back on top of the PC there, and it's got my Skype microphone plugged into it. So I think we'll just, the easiest way and the quickest way for me to give it a test is actually to just call the Skype test service. So I'll just do that now.
Hello, welcome to Skype call testing service. After the beep, please record a message. Afterwards, your message will be played back to you.
Hello, this is a test 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Hello, this is a test 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. So I think that's my little mixer working there. Good enough that I can run it for a while, see how we get on. I might test out some of the other channels to make sure they are still working, because like I said, I don't know where that op amp was. I knew it had something to do with the LEDs, but that's about it. So that's about it. Thanks for watching.